Johnny Murray here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be doing one final Nintendo ranking before the Nintendo Switch pre-orders happen in the US. Look, I know there's been a lot of Nintendo content, and for good reason. I mean, obviously, we're leading up to a brand new console. Like, there's no better time to do it, and that's, like, the most excited thing, like, in gaming right now. I know it is for me. Super duper excited for so many of the games, so many of just the new features and the hardware. So, that's why we're doing a bunch of Nintendo content. But today is the big one. It's the one that matters, right? And that is, what are my top 10 favorite Nintendo Switch games? And we're gonna be ranking them. I do have two honorable mentions, but yeah, these are my top 10. These are the ones that have defined the generation for me. These are the ones that, you know, when I think of the Switch, they are the first games I think of. When I think of why I love Nintendo, these are the games that I think of, you know? So, that's what we're going to be ranking, giving you my top 10 plus two honorable mentions. But if you guys love video games, consider subscribing, share with your friends. It doesn't matter what you love, really. Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, third-party, PC, VR, indie, whatever it may be, we talk about it, and we cover video games daily on this channel. And thank you almost for the support, especially the support on this video right here. But with that being said, here are my top 10 favorite Nintendo Switch games. And we're going to start with my two honorable mentions first. So one of the honorable mentions is, I just put Bowser's Fury. It's 3D World, right? But it is, you know, with the Bowser's Fury expansion pack. And the Bowser's Fury expansion is really what made this game special for me, because I love, like, giant kaiju battles, Pacific Rim, I love, like, Godzilla and stuff like that, right? And so it was kind of, what if Mario, you know, had those huge, what if Bowser turned into Godzilla, right? Mega Bowser, whatever you want to call him, Giga Bowser. And it was just so fun. I loved it. Plus, you do get your 3D Mario fix there. You do get, like, great level design, awesome platforming. You get all that 3D tropes, and it was just such a blast, and I absolutely loved it. I just wish it was longer or a full-on game, and so that's why it is honorable mention, because while it is great, it didn't necessarily give you that full video game experience, but it is still great, and I recommend everybody play it. The next one we're going to be talking about is Mario Maker 2. That is the other honorable mention. And the reason I put it in honorable mention, don't get me wrong, this is one of my favorite things to do on the Switch. But that's the thing. It's one of my favorite things to do. These Maker games, while yes, they are video games, it's just really hard for me in my head to place it as, like, yo, this is one of my favorite games, because it's really just a bunch of other Mario games put into one, and it's this really awesome feature that you get to do what you like. You get to make your own Mario levels. Like, you can't really play the game unless you make stuff or you play other people's stuff. And for me, it's just really hard to categorize that as, like, one of my favorite games, because it's kind of like infinite possibilities, endless, like, creativity. So I don't know, it's just very different. So for me, I put it in honorable mentions. It is one of my most anticipated or most wish listed things for the Nintendo Switch 2. But yeah, that's why it's an honorable mention. I personally just don't see it as a game, even though it is a game. Let's be honest. But that's just the way my mind looks at it. But anyway, let's kick off the actual top 10, and starting with Yoshi's Crafted World. I've talked about this game so many times. I've talked about it in my franchise video. Yoshi is one of my favorite franchises, because it is just so different and unique, while it has everything you want out of a Nintendo game, plus even a Mario game at times. It is super creative with its level design, with its visuals, character designs, moments, environments, all that stuff. But what it does is it does that 2.5D gameplay where, you know, it is kind of 3D, but then it's also 2D at the same time, and there's so many different things, whether it is using wool, like in Yoshi's Woolly World, or whether it is Yoshi's Crafted World, using cardboard and arts and crafts and stuff like that. It's just super duper creative. It is that more kid-friendly Mario game, which Mario is already kid-friendly, and so Yoshi kind of just takes it up a few notches. But it's just such a charming game. Like, it's so hard not to enjoy yourself when playing this game. Just smiling, having a good time with some great level design, polished gameplay, and lovable characters. You have Yoshi. You have the main antagonist, which is Bowser Jr., which I'm a little biased. Bowser Jr. is my favorite Nintendo character. So, you know, I am a little bit biased towards that, but I do just genuinely love this game. I think it's one of the most underrated. I think it is the most underrated game on the Switch. And I hope we get more Yoshi games, because I do think they are really, really special. And so yeah, Yoshi does come in at number 10. The next one we're gonna be talking about is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I talked about this in my franchise ranking. I actually had Xenoblade as an honorable mention, and that's because Xenoblade 3 is the only one I've played. Now, I've loved everything I've played of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm really excited to play Xenoblade X, and I really want to play the other two as well. But yeah, so Xenoblade 3 is phenomenal. I mean, whether we're talking about the characters, whether we're talking about its gameplay, and yes, I do think the gameplay is really, really good. It is unengaging at times, but the systems that are in place, the strategy, and the just everything, the way the characters work in the gameplay, I think is really, really well done. And it's one of the best looking games on the Switch, visually and from a technical standpoint. Monolith Soft, really knocked it out the park here. And Xenoblade 3 is such an amazing game that I recommend everybody play, even if you're not a JRPG fan, because you are going to find characters that you just love. The characters are easily the best part of the game. And the next one, coming in at number 8, we have Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I've talked about this game multiple times, especially recently, because I started to notice that when I first played Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. Me and my friend Austin, we played it. We beat it in like one sitting, pretty much. It was a short game. It's a really easy game, and that is kind of like my biggest critiques when it comes to the game. But the more time that's gone on, the more I look back at, the more platformers I play, the more Nintendo games that I play, the more I realize how much I actually genuinely enjoyed playing the game. It was just fun, straight up fun. You know, we're not getting anything where it's breaking boundaries. It's not taking technical leaps. It's not taking creative like innovations. There is some new things that they try with it. The fact that Kirby is going 3D for the first time was exciting. But what this game did better than so many other ones is there was never a moment where I felt like we were repeating things. There never felt like there was a moment where the gameplay got stale. There was never a moment I wasn't smiling ear to ear playing this game. Whether it's the music, the visuals, the gameplay, the character, whatever it was. Even the story was solid for the most part. This game really is just super great. It's just so fun to play, and it's such a great time, and I highly recommend everybody play this game. This is the only Kirby game I've played, and I already love Kirby just from that game, and I do want to go back and play other ones, and I can't wait for whatever comes next. I know we have Air Ride coming, but I'm curious what the next mainline's gonna be, and I personally hope it's 3D. I hope they do another one of those, but if it's 2D, I'll still be there day one as well. But yeah, Kirby and Forgotten Land, fantastic. Coming in at number 7 is Super Mario Odyssey. Now, I do think this is the best 3D Mario game. I do think this is one of the, from a quality standpoint, I think this is one of the best games of all time. Because genuinely, I think this game is dang near flawless. From its level design to the depth with its gameplay systems, to the visuals, to the story. Yes, I said story. To the music, to the characters. This has everything you want in a Nintendo game. This has everything you want in a Mario game. This has everything you want in a video game. This is a quintessential, almost perfect video game. The only reason it's not higher is just personally, I tend to gravitate towards the other ones more. Like, from this point on, we're talking 10 out of 10s, right? These are all 10 out of 10s to me. Mario Odyssey is one of those. And so, you know, it really is just comes down to which one do I prefer. But genuinely, when I'm looking at this from a quality standpoint, when I'm looking at this from a what in my mind makes a great game, Mario Odyssey is the embodiment of it. Like, there is nothing wrong with the game. And matter of fact, everything about the game is above average, exceeds above average. It is phenomenal what the Odyssey team was able to do with this game, and I just can't wait till we possibly get Odyssey 2 or whatever the next 3D Mario game is. I'm curious if they will be able to top it. Yeah, this game is a must play. If you have a Switch, if you like Mario, even if you don't like Mario, this is a must play. Absolutely, 100%. And then coming in at, I do believe this is 6th place, we have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, what's crazy is from this point on, all of these games are in my top 50 games of all time. That's how many great games the Switch has. And so Smash Ultimate, man, I mean, it's one of my favorite fighting games ever. This is, again, kind of like Odyssey. There's very little wrong with this game. It is the embodiment of what makes a perfect fighting game, right? And I think, you know, are there better fighting games in his history? Maybe, you know, if you're looking at Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Street Fighter 2, stuff like that, maybe. But I think if you had to say, what's the best of the best? What are you getting out of any other game that you can't find in Smash Ultimate? You have one of the biggest rosters of all time. You have some of the most exciting characters of all time. You have some of the most polished and diverse gameplay in a fighting game. You have some of the most unique gameplay in a fighting game. You have some of the most stages. You have the most music. You have tons of content, whether it is single player or multiplayer, local and online. Whether you are getting the experience that comes along with Smash Bros. There was a period in time where every single Nintendo Direct or Game Awards, the question was, who is the next Smash character? And it was moments in time. The moment Steve was revealed to be in Smash was such a moment in time that everyone will remember. The moment Banjo was announced. Smash really is that Nintendo event. Smash is the Nintendo event that everybody looks forward to every single console generation, and it's the one that everybody can talk about, right? Yes, a lot of people, majority of people have played Mario Odyssey. A lot of people have played, you know, other games like Zelda. But the one that everybody can always just come together and talk about their mains, talk about what they love, talk about their hopes and dreams, talk about their wish list, talk about the characters that they hate and stuff like that. Smash is that. It is, in a way, I think, the ultimate Nintendo game. Because you are getting every IP, you are getting every franchise, you are getting dang near like so many characters. You're even getting third-party characters. You're getting just so many things in this game that just screams video games, and it is one of the best genres in video games. Fighting games are in the holy trinity of video game genres, and so Smash Ultimate is just absolutely phenomenal, and it has to be on here. But starting in the top 5, these are my absolute personal favorites. These are the ones that, you know, I hang posters on my wall for. These are the ones that I'll have behind here. You can actually see one right there. But starting it off, we have The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. I personally am not a big fan of the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom formula. It's just not the Zelda that really screams to me. What screams to me are those classic Zelda games. Yes, I love Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, although those as well. Don't get me wrong, I do love those. Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, love Wind Waker. But the ones that are my absolute favorites are those classic top-down isometric Zeldas. They just hit the spot every time. They have such a charm, such a characteristic to them that I just get so excited to play it, and I just love figuring out the puzzles, doing the combat areas, and it's just such a fun time. It's just such a fun time doing those dungeons, and there's just so much to love about it. Link's Awakening does have one of my favorite art styles on the Switch, if not my favorite art styles. The little, it almost looks like little toy figures at times. Like, the animation on these games is amazing. So yeah, I absolutely just love Link's Awakening. It's easily my favorite Zelda game of all time. And yeah, so it had to come in here, and it's number 5. I just said all that, and it's number 5. That's how many great games are on the Switch. Coming in at number 4. If you guys have been paying attention to the channel for a few years, you know how passionate I am about this game, and that is Super Mario RPG. You know, on the franchise rankings, I separated the Super Mario games, which are the mainline 3D 2D games, and then I separated what came above it was the Mario spin-off games, whether it is sports, whether it's the RPG ones, whether it is like Princess Peach or Mario vs. Donkey Kong, whatever those are, right? I love these Mario RPG games. There's another one on here, and we're going to talk about that here in a second, but Mario RPG is one of my favorite journeys I've ever been on in a video game. And I say that because that's why I love this game. It felt like a journey. It felt like the joint effort of multiple characters that you know and love, some that you don't even know, and they make you care about every single character. And it's a group of characters that is a once in a lifetime combination. When you reach that end, it's not the greatest ending of all time, but for me it was, because in my head I realized this is a one and done. This is a group of characters we're never going to see again. This is a group of characters that I just went on a 20-hour journey that I absolutely fell in love with. I loved the gameplay. I loved the story. I loved the music. I loved the visual. It has that Link's Awakening art style in a way. And I just realized that this was a journey. I reflected on where I started, and I realized where I was in that ending, and it made me realize how much I love that game. When I first finished that game, I loved it. I think I gave it like a 9 out of 10 or something, and I absolutely loved it. I said it was one of my favorite Switch games. But as years went by, granted it's only like a few years now, but as months and time went on, I realized that all these other games that I were playing, that Mario RPG still just had that feeling of being on a journey with characters that I love, that it is so rare. And it just makes me love the game so much. It is a game that I want to replay. That's how you know I love a game, if I want to replay it, if I get that urge to replay it. And I have nothing bad to say about this game. I love the RPG style Mario games, and this is one of the reasons, because of this game. And so I have to just shout it out and get it there. It is number 4. But coming in at 3, kicking off our top 3, you guys probably guessed this one was in my... I mean, if you know me, if you've heard all my other rankings and talk on podcasts about my favorite Nintendo Switch stuff, you probably know what my top 3 are. Kicking off number 3 is new Pokemon Snap. I've said it multiple times. Pokemon is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's my second favorite Nintendo franchise. And while Pokemon Snap is not the best Pokemon game by any means, I've said it from the moment I did my review. You can go back 4 years ago from when I did my old review formats in my old room with a crappy camera, and I said it in that review, and I've said it every time I talk about this game. It is not the best Pokemon game, but what it is the best Pokemon experience, because it captures what makes Pokemon so special, not from a gameplay standpoint, but from an IP standpoint, right? All the Pokemon, all the environments, all the characters, all the visual charm, all the musical charm. It captures all of that. This game has a magic that is so unexplainable, because if you pitch it to somebody, it's, hey, what is Pokemon Snap? You take pictures of Pokemon. That's it. And while somebody will be like, okay, how is that special? You can't really answer that question. You have to play the game, whether it is solving secrets, finding Easter eggs, unlocking new areas, unlocking new angles to see Pokemon that you haven't seen. I can't explain to you the feeling of doing these specific things, like throwing an apple in a hole, and then your one of your favorite Pokemon pops out the hole, and you finally get to take a picture of it, and you've been looking for that Pokemon forever. It's just such a special feeling, and this game had something that I didn't even expect it to have, and that was a really fun story and just really great production. This is the best looking Pokemon game on the Switch, 100%. It might be one of the best looking Pokemon games ever, honestly. And I absolutely just love this game. This is one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely love Pokemon Snap. I am definitely a little bit biased because the original Pokemon Snap on the N64 is like the first game I ever played, like in my life, on back when I was super duper young. But that aside, I still love what this game is, and I have to shout it out. But anyway, my runner-up, number 2, and this one, I've gone back and forth on this. Both of these are in my top 5 favorite games of all time. Both of these are my top 5 favorite games of all time. That's how good the Switch's library was. And I've gone back and forth. Originally, this was higher, but after replaying some of them and just thinking about it more, I reached the decision that this is what it was. And the runner-up is Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. You probably were not expecting this if you have not paid attention to the channel, because you don't really hear a lot of people talk about this game to a certain extent and give it as much love as what I'm about to. But I did not like the first game. I did not. I just never really got into it. I thought it was kind of boring. I wasn't really excited for this game, but I played it anyway because that's my mindset. That's the kind of gamer I am. I don't care if I don't like something. I don't care if I don't find it interesting. I'm going to play it because I might be wrong. I might be wrong, and that is okay. And so I played it. The rest is history. It's now my second favorite Switch game of all time. It is one of my favorite games of all time. And it is what made me love the Mario RPG format, which made me want to play Super Mario RPG. And then I fell in love with that. This game has some of my favorite gameplay ever when it comes to a turn-based strategy game. It is such a beautiful game in terms of visuals, like especially coming from a Mario game. And it is just such a fun game, right? I'm not gonna say it has the greatest story of all time. I'm not gonna kind of say like, I felt like I went on a journey with these characters I love. It didn't have all that, but it genuinely had me hooked. It had me so hooked, I couldn't put it down. This is one of those rare games where I genuinely wanted to do all the side quests. I wanted to get all the collectibles. If Nintendo had a platinum trophy system, I would have gotten the platinum for this game. 100%. It is one of my most enjoyable games out there. And it was just because I just got so hooked into it with all the characters, with the gameplay, with the music, with the visuals. The fact that it was Mario Galaxy theme was even a cool bonus. Just such a fun game that I absolutely love. But coming in at number 1, y'all know it. If you guys watch my franchise ranking, you probably guessed this would be here, and that is Metroid Dread. Metroid is my favorite Nintendo franchise. Metroid is my second favorite franchise, period, not even just Nintendo. And it all started with Metroid Dread. Never played a Metroid game until this. And I realized that Metroid is one of the coolest things ever. Samus is one of the coolest characters ever. The aura and atmosphere and vibe that Metroid gives off is so unique and so one of a kind that I've yet to find in any other franchise. The Metroidvania genre has now become one of my favorite video game genres ever. And Metroid Dread had so many things that I love. Super exciting, thrilling gameplay, that horror element to it in it as well, which I found awesome. Insane boss battles, great music, great visuals. This was the first Switch game that I played that I realized, dang, I love Nintendo. Like, this was the first game that I was like, yep, I need to play Nintendo games, because I genuinely loved everything about this game. And it made me go back to play some of the other Metroids. I've yet to play a Metroid game that I have not loved. Metroid Prime is also one of my favorite games. By the way, I did not include remasters or deluxes to this list, by the way, because Metroid Prime would be on here otherwise. And so Metroid Dread just had to be number one. Whether I do like Sparks of Hope more or not, which, again, I go back and forth on that all the time, Metroid Dread had to be number one on this list specifically because this was the Switch game for me. This was the Switch game that opened my eyes to Nintendo and made me just want to play as much as possible. And I have to give credit to it, and I absolutely love it, and I just can't wait for whatever the next 2D Metroid is, and I'm ready for Metroid Prime 4 as well. Metroid is freaking awesome. It's so dang cool, and I absolutely love it. But thank you all so much for watching this list. Let me know in the comments, what are some of your favorite games? You can even do your whole top 10 plus some honorable mentions if you want. I'd love to talk with you, but this was my ranking. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.